Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to do your June the 21st spiritual principle a day in a meditation. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. And as I do, I want to throw a disclaimer out there. This is not my first recording of this meditation. And I find that the wording is very complicated. And I am going to try and get through it successfully this time for you, okay? Sharing solidarity with our fellow members. That is the title of this June 21st meditation. There's a special feeling for addicts when they discover that there are other people who share their difficulties, past and present. That comes from the basic text, chapter 5, What Can I Do? Many of us experience a sense of solidarity with our druggie buddies early in our using careers. We found camaraderie as we conspired on our next score, caper, or conquest. We entrusted at least some of our secrets with a select few, and they counted on us to hold our mud. There were limits to our loyalty, however. In time, we'd betray them, or they'd betray us. The romanticized version of our stories often focuses on those magic moments of solidarity with our running partners. If we follow the storyline of these relationships through to their collapse, we might mistakenly conclude that those kinds of bonds are a thing of the past, or that we're still incapable of sustaining solidarity in close friendships. This adds to our sense of isolation and alienation, making us vulnerable to unhelpful self-talk that can create a wedge between us and our clean new friends. Once we recognize that recovery changes everything about our capacity for connection, we're able to take a stand against that negative chatter. Our previous sense of solidarity centered around drug use. Now, solidarity springs from honest sharing and empathy, and the occasional caper, conquest, or war story. In one member's experience, I came in feeling like I didn't belong, that I was so uniquely troubled. Then I heard the stories and realized I found my people. Solidarity is the spiritual opposite of isolation and self-centeredness. Although our circumstances, interests, and ambitions vary wildly, we connect emotionally and spiritually and stand by one another. We all have dreams and struggles, experience joy and sorrow, want to be happy and forgiven, to love and be loved. And we don't have to experience any of it alone. Over the years, countless sponsors have offered this assurance. I can't fix your problems, but you won't have to face them alone. And really, what more could we ask for? To build solidarity with my fellow members, I will share my struggles with someone who can help or someone who might need help. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the wee version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today. Please and thank you. Powerful meditation talking about sharing solidarity with fellow members. Many of us come into the fellowship and we are very cognizant of the fact that our definition of friendship or solidarity or loyalty only went so far. We could only take it so far. You got to remember, we're using, right? We're using drugs at this stage, and we have these running partners. We have people that we're using with. And if we walk those relationships all the way through to their collapse, undoubtedly we see that there were all of these signs along the way that this was not a honest friendship. And at the very, very most, it was built on self-deception and deteriorating our bodies in every sense of the word, all for the use of drugs. So what you up on today? Girl, I'm doing such and such. Okay. Well, I got something on that. You do? Or what you doing? You got some money? Yeah, I got some money. Well, we need your money today. If we're gonna get high, we're gonna need your money. If we're gonna get some drinks, we're gonna need your money. We're gonna smoke some weed, we're gonna need some of your money today. Right? And it's this relationship that is so centered around I got your back and you got my back, and we're going to use together. And when I don't have it, you have it. And that type of relationship, and then the things that take place within that relationship. I can't tell you how many of my friendships ended all because of the behaviors that came along with our using. And some people say, I will never cross that line. And there's a lot of lines we say we will never cross until we get high. And you keep getting high for a certain period of time, before you know it, everything that you said you wouldn't do, you're yet, right? I haven't done that yet. Your YET, you will find you're eligible to. You will find that you also have the capacity to betray, because it comes along with the lifestyle. You can be down with someone, you can be on their team to a certain extent, but at some point in time, you will find in the collapse of all those relationships that the line of loyalty was crossed at some point in time. The incapacity to be able to tell your so-called friend, you should not have done that. Now we are in trouble. Now we are fearing for our lives. I can't get out of it because I was with you when you did it. So, okay. Now what do we do? Right? The inability to speak up and say, that's not a good idea. And if that's what you want to do, I'll be seeing you later. I'm not getting tied up in that. It comes with the lifestyle. So I know everyone here can identify with having solidarity with using partners. But now let's talk about the other side of the coin. I was talking to some of my friends about coins having two sides, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm the coin. I might have a using personality, and I might have a clean personality. I might have an ungodly personality, and then I might have a godly personality. I might have all of that, but it doesn't matter what side of the coin that you're talking about. We can have a conversation about it, but I am the coin. And unless I embrace the good and the bad, I'm not talking about condoning the bad. I'm talking about being able to acknowledge it. I'm talking about having self-honesty to the extent that I can say, you know what? That is not a character. That's not a positive character asset, right? If you will, of mine. That is a character defect of mine. And what happens with that particular character defect, fear, is that I will find myself trying to wiggle out of situations or making commitments that I have no intention on keeping. That's self-honesty. So when I'm looking at myself as having, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, okay, but that's still you. That's still who you are. And you are definitely capable of good and bad. But you are not good or bad. You are a human being capable of doing good or bad. You are the coin, and you flip it when you want. Nobody makes us flip anything. So let's look at the other side of the coin. Let's look at the other side of ourselves, the capacity for having friends within the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous or whatever 12-step program you're in life in general. We have the ability to choose who we run with. And within that, we get an opportunity to make space for better relationships, to learn from our past and say, today, I'm going to be honest no matter what. I'm not going to lie just to make someone like me. And then we begin to try and test that ground, that territory in that relationship. You know, this one person, I'm not too crazy about him, but this one person, he said to me, he said, when I'm trying to approach a difficult conversation, you'll notice one thing about me. And it's like, what? He said, I always preface what I'm about to say with, I want to take a risk here. Can I take a risk? So he makes a statement and then he asks it. I'm going to take a risk here. Can I take a risk here? Right? And he said, the people are thrown off by me even admitting that I feel that this is risky, that I feel somehow insecure about what I'm about to say to them. And it's their natural instinct to buy in. It's their natural instinct to say, I'm curious, go ahead. You can't offend me. Or I won't be offended, or I won't take it personal. It might be very personal. But he was saying that by him just admitting that this was a risk for him to say, that most of the time the conversations always turn out just fine. And even though I'm not a fan of this person, right? I have found that is some jewel, that is a gem that I have received about how to work and be present in relationships and take chances in relationships on being vulnerable with people, with fellow members in Narcotics Anonymous. If I'm not certain, I'll just say, I'm going to take a risk in saying this, and I hope that it comes across the way that my heart means it. And I'll often say with my philosophical self, if it doesn't, charge it to my mind and not my heart. So I'm already asking for forgiveness if I offend them. Try it. But more than anything, let's come away from, oh, we lost so many friendships. So we gave those friendships away. And a lot of them were not even friendships. They were using ships, drug ships, con ships. Today, let's begin to invest in the people that God has put in our life, in our recovering life, and give those a chance. Take a risk on those. Be vulnerable on those. Family, my name is Maddie Stream. I have certainly enjoyed your company today. I hope that you have a beautiful day on purpose. I know you will. I'm going to have a beautiful day. Today is one of those days. It's very long. It doesn't end until 10 p.m. tonight. I have class for 4 hours after I get done at the internship. But you know what? I'm so excited that I get to do these things in life today. I'm going to have a wonderful day, and I know you will too. Talk to you tomorrow.